Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to discuss pay and updated what a sonographer makes, because as we all know, the pandemic reshaped our future, and inflation has kind of gone through the roof with everything that's going on in the world right now, and so our pay inflated as well. So if you're new to my channel, thank you so much. I've noticed I've gotten quite a bit of you guys that are new here, so thank you so much for the follow. If you've been here for a long time, I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support. I don't want to start switching things up since I'm back making videos. I want to make sure I'm keeping it interesting, so let me know what type of videos you want to see. If you want to see my workout routine, what I eat in a day, how my day-to-day looks, let me know. But I do like these more informative videos because I can kind of plan it out and I feel like it's a little more structured. So let me know what your thoughts are. Anyways, let's go ahead and hop on into this video. Okay, so I've been doing some research today. There have been some crazy numbers that I have found. And so basically, if you know, I live in Texas, and so like the numbers that I'm going to give you are going to kind of be based off of Texas because that's what I know, that's what I'm used to. I have friends in here in the field, so I can reach out to them and ask them if this sounds accurate. But as you know, there are tons of modalities. I'll say tons. There's a handful of modalities in sonography, and I will go through each one of them and let you know basically what their annual salary is, and it will give you like an average. It's not what it is. It's not like a solid number, right? Because obviously all these numbers depend on experience, your licensing, and how long you've been somewhere, right? So first and foremost, I kind of want to talk about PRN. If you are PRN, meaning you are on call or you're as needed, your pay will be a little bit different. I know that when I was working at one hospital, because I had my vascular license, now this was years ago, but because I had my vascular license and I was PRN, I made a little bit more money than the full-time employees. And the reason being is because we're kind of like we're as needed. So you want to make enough money. So like if you're PRN, you can offer to take shifts, and a lot of times you can make more money that way. However, if you're like me, I'm very structured. I like to know when I'm got to be somewhere, what time I'm getting off, so on and so forth. I prefer full-time position. Now, maybe if I didn't have kids, maybe I would prefer PRN because I don't mind staying up all night. I don't mind that. So everybody's got different personalities, different preferences, so it all depends on what you want to do or have to do or whatever the case may be. But before I jumped into this, I wanted to talk about how PRN works. So basically, if you're PRN, they say, I need somebody to cover this shift. They give you the option to cover the shift, or they say if you're the only PRN tech, then you might not get an option, you might just have to cover that shift, right? So basically they'll tell you and put you on the schedule as needed. A lot of the times if you're PRN, you are on call, so they will tell you what days you're on call. And it all depends on the hospital size that you work for as well. So I know for one hospital that I worked for, when I was on call, I got to pick. Luckily, I got to pick what days I was available. So I told them what days I was available, and then they would put me on there if they needed me, right? So it worked out to where I got all the days that I wanted. And then I could pick up any extra that I needed. So what would happen is, if like, I'm just going to use some numbers here because I don't remember what I made hourly when I was on call. So I'm just going to kind of like pull a number out of the hat. But so let's just hypothetically say that you're on call for 24 hours, but you're not scheduled. So you're just scheduled to be on call, but you're not on the schedule to work an actual shift. If you're on for 24 hours, you get paid an hourly number, and I'm just going to use the number $7 an hour. So you could not get called in at all that day, but you could sitting at home, meaning you can't drink, you can't go plan much, but you're sitting at home and you're getting paid an hourly rate. Like I said, I'm just going to use the number 7 just because it makes it easy. But so all day long, 24 hours, getting paid $7 an hour, right? Pretty good. if you ask me. Now, if you're getting called in, let's say you haven't gone in at all, but then you get called in at midnight, right? So you get called in at midnight, and the moment you clock in there, a lot of the times they will give you your PRN pay, which is that $7 an hour. Then once you clock in, you get your hourly pay, and then pay and a half, if that makes sense. And you automatically get paid for 2 hours or 2.5 hours, even if you're only there for 30 minutes, right? So you have the opportunity to make a lot of money. I know that, like, when I quit doing call, I miss those paychecks so much. Like, I would literally only work like maybe a couple hours, and my paychecks would be like $500 to $1,000 just for like two days, couple hours. I'm not even joking here. It worked out. Now, that's just doing PRN. But usually when you're PRN, I don't know if I mentioned this a while ago, but usually if you're PRN, you get paid a little bit more because you're not putting in as many hours unless you're picking up all those hours, right? So anyways, I wanted to go ahead and jump in. Now that I've got that aside, I wanted to go in and jump into the numbers that I have researched. You can look all this up online if for your state if you want to, but I try to make it a little bit easier for you guys. My numbers, some of them are from Texas and some of them are just kind of like throughout the United States, but they all seem to be right around the same number from what I could tell. But I'm going to say I'm basing it off the numbers in Texas because that's what I know. I have friends here. I can ask them. So if this number doesn't seem right to you and you're in Texas, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what your estimated salary, you don't have to be too personal about it, but your estimated salary down in the comments. And then if you're from another state, let us know how much you're making and what modality. Just like I said, just an estimate, because we don't need to get too personal about what we're all making unless that's what you want, and then I don't care either. Let's go ahead and do it, right? But first and foremost, because I get a lot of questions, especially since when I first got into the field that I did neuro sonography. So I just did a lot of transcranial Dopplers. I didn't actually do, like, unless it was with babies, I didn't actually do neurosonography in the sense that I couldn't see the vessels. I literally just watched the Dopplers, right? So, but I get a lot of questions about that. I don't know if this is still a modality. I'm sure it is because I'm sure that they need it somewhere, but I don't ever see it when I'm online looking, because I like to look and see who's hiring. Even though I own my own business, I like to stay in the know, right? So neurosonography is showing about $81,000 a year. So I mean, that's pretty good if you ask me. And that's all these numbers are average. So obviously you can make more than that. So there's that. Now, if you're a general sonographer and you're doing, you just got your license in abdomen, you're looking at making somewhere between $77,000 and $78,000. And again, that's pretty impressive if you ask me, considering most of the people who are sonographers went to a 2-year degree. So they got their associates in science and they're making this much money. I think that's pretty fabulous. Then you can go on down and get your license in vascular, RVT. Vascular techs make about $79,000. And then we'll go down to breast. So what I was looking up for breast, they had a huge gap. So they had a gap saying between $28 an hour to $56 an hour. But when I finally did a little bit digging, a little deeper digging, I found that the average is about $72,000 a year. And I don't know about you, but like for me, like scanning breast was pretty easy, but like actually looking for like tumors and stuff, like it was very scary to me because you don't want to miss anything. That breast tissue, everybody's got different breast tissue. So like if you have like nodular tissue, it's hard to tell if you find a mass, right? So definitely got to have a good eye for that. So kudos to breast sonographers. Pediatrics, after doing a little bit of digging, like in Texas, it said it was $62,000 on this one website. I think it was ZipRecruiter or something like that. $62,000 a year. I don't think that's right. So I did a little more digging. I found $75,000 annually. So that's amazing if you ask me. And you get to be with children all the time. I personally couldn't do it just because I had one case when I was in working in the hospital. I got called down to the children's ER because everyone was busy. The pediatric sonographer was already busy. So I got called down there, and it was pretty traumatic for me because there's nothing like seeing a kid that just feels so bad and you can see it, and they're telling their mom, who's boo-hoo crying, that everything's going to be okay, and you scan them and it's not going to be okay. That was tough for me. I couldn't imagine. So for me, pediatrics, not for me. I love kids, but I have too big of a heart for that. Then we're going to go on down to musculoskeletal. This one kind of tripped me out because I don't know this one at all. I do know what musculoskeletal is, but when I saw that the number was 112,000 a year average, I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know if that's true or not. So if you do MKS, I don't know. If you do that type of sonography, please let us know if that's right. I'm curious. Then you have your cardiac sonography, who do echoes on adults, right? They are averaging, from the numbers that I found, 109. That's awesome. Amazing. But they're definitely needed. Not to say that no other modality is needed, but it's definitely needed, especially in the elder community. Here in Austin, where I live, we have an elderly community, and Austin Heart, we would see a lot of them. So they're definitely needed. Then we're going to go on down to OBGYN. Their average annual salary is $85,000. That's pretty cool. You get to look at babies. Now, OBGYN, you do a little bit more in depth because you're going to look at the ovaries and the uterus and all that all the time, not just the babies. So, but still pretty good. And as y'all know, I love me some OB because MFM stole my heart, which is going to lead me to MFM now. So, looking at MFM, now I think this number is pretty accurate considering, like, when I left, looking at what I was making when I left and the raise that I know that everyone got at the hospital that I was at, I think this number is pretty accurate. So, like, just being, like, this is average. So just having your fetal echo boards license, and then your OBGYN and your experience, right? So this is saying 87,000 annually, and I think that's pretty spot on. Now, obviously, the longer you're there, the more you're going to make, the more licensing you have. And in MFM, there's quite a bit. Like, you have your nuchal translucency, your clear, your nasal bone. So there's definitely more licensing, more ways to make money. But that covers, I don't think I missed anything, but if I did miss anything, please let me know in the comments below, and I'd be glad to cover that as well. Now, I will say these numbers are going to be a little bit different based on if you're a traveling sonographer or not. If you are a traveling sonographer, like, I don't know what those numbers are. I would love to do the research on it, but if you know, leave me a comment and I'll be happy to make another video over traveling sonography pay. Another thing that I wanted to mention is, because of the pandemic, things have changed. There is now MFM telemed sonography. I think that's awesome. Like, why wasn't this here a long time ago? From my understanding, like, you're not actually scanning anymore, but you're definitely doing a lot of research. So you're helping look at these images and writing up these reports and then giving it to the doctor to kind of make the doctor's job a little more efficient. I think that's genius. Genius. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't ramble too much and repeat myself, but that's always a fear of mine. So, I mean, if I do it, y'all know me. But I hope, like I said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a like, leave me a comment, say hi. And if you're new, welcome. Go ahead and make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I love you guys so much. Thank you for your love and support, and have a great day.